The Hog Sty is brought to you by TicketClub.com, your one-stop shop for live events nationwide. Whether you're looking for game, theater, or live performance tickets, don't sweat it. TicketClub.com has you covered. So make sure you're going there for all your live entertainment needs, and make sure you're clicking over to them from the banner at the top of thehogsty.com.
By fans, for fans, the Hog Style. And now, here's your host, Sean Conti.
Welcome back to the Hog Sty, your number one Redskins podcast. It is Sunday, October 6th, and the Redskins are now 0-5 on the season following a loss to the Patriots. That was every bit what was expected, but there are things to learn in every game, and that includes this loss. We're here to talk about it. My name's Sean Conti. I got Alex Zeese and Steve Thomas on the mic with me. Guys, 33-7. How y'all feeling? We were pretty close on our predictions last week, I would say.
I was a little under. I actually thought this game went better than what I thought it would.
Well, it looked...
Yeah, I predicted 42-14, so I was guessing more of a shootout than it ended up being, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, what I missed was that the Patriots offense didn't really get well against us.
No, they
that's what I missed.
Well, the front seven for the Redskins actually played better than I think they've played most of the year, which is kind of weird to say. The rest of the defense did not. The secondary in particular didn't play particularly well. But
no.
Yeah. The front seven at least was okay. And I think that was kind of what kept us under 40.
Yeah, I mean,
fair enough.
The Pat's O-line hasn't been that good either, remember. I mean,
sure.
It's just not. But yeah, I thought they would. I think I predicted 45 points, and they only got to 33, so I was a bit disappointed in my prognostication ability there.
Yeah. Hey, we got the essence of the game correct, which is that despite an early start to the game that looked promising, this one was never really in hand or close. Patriots ran away a bit and kept us pretty close to a shutout, other than that one miracle play, which is really all we had going on offense throughout the game. If you look at the drive summary, it's just punt, interception, fumble, punt, et cetera, throughout the game. There's really nothing much to point to on offense. I'll tell you what, though. Any debate or question about Colt McCoy adding some sort of spark or life to this offense, I think, can more or less be put to bed. I mean, am I right?
Well, it was never going to happen. You could have had Peyton Manning back there. It would have been the same. With this offense against this defense. I didn't expect Colt to go and do anything, and he didn't. So I wasn't surprised at all.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think anyone expected a spark. Maybe a sliver of confidence, not a slimmer. I don't know what a slimmer would be.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I'll say that he didn't look good, even considering the circumstances.
No.
He missed a bunch of open reads. I just think he looked rusty. He didn't play well.
Yeah, panicked a lot.
Not that I expect him to. Yeah, I mean, he was shell-shocked by the end of that thing. So, I mean, he didn't play well. Not that it was going to go well. I mean, and look, Dwayne Haskins was going to do the same or worse.
Yeah, most likely.
So.
I also think Colt might have still been hampered a bit by injuries, but even early in the game when they were playing a little bit better, he got kind of jostled around in the pocket a little bit, looked like he was favoring one of his legs. I don't know. He looks busted up. When is this love affair with Colt McCoy going to come to an end? I mean, that the coaching staff has.
2020.
It's gonna. Whenever Jay Gruden leaves his team, that's when it's gonna.
Yeah, I think you're right. The next guy's not gonna mess with this.
No. Whoever comes in will just say goodbye to Colt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely.
Did you feel like he was? I don't know. Going through reads, I mean, was there anything he was doing better than what we've seen from the other guys this year? Anything at all?
Better? No.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think
about
better.
The same, honestly. I mean, maybe I think Keenum at least wasn't missing as many reads.
Yeah.
As Colt. Colt missed a bunch of reads today.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. So I think from that respect, he was worse than Keenum. Not that either one has been good.
And
no.
How bad do you think the missing tight ends are hurting the overall production of this offense? The two obviously much higher caliber tight ends that were out today.
Well, I mean, sure, it hurts, but at this point, aren't they used to it?
Yeah,
I
they should be.
Jordan Reed is not really a part of the team anymore. I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean,
Jordan who?
How long has it been since he's played?
Yeah, yeah, way too long.
So I mean, I just don't know why they even rely on it.
Yeah, the crazy thing is to think I don't even remember when he last played healthy a season ago. Like he hasn't been 100% probably in 2-3 years now. Yeah. So, I'm not surprised. You got to move on from the whole Jordan Reed concept. Missing Davis really hurt us. He was usually good for 1 or 2 big catches a game.
Right.
So that hurts you.
Right.
Okay,
Absolutely.
So I've got some stats, and I want to read them because I think some of them are amazing. And so everybody has to suffer through this since I've been calculating some stuff here. So
hit us.
Colt McCoy, 18 for 27 for 119 yards. But here's the more interesting number: the net yardage. See how the NFL counts passing stats is the individual quarterback will get the gross yardage, irrespective of the sacks, and then the team passing yardage is the net. Okay, so there were 5 sacks or 43 yards. So the Redskins actually had 76 yards net passing today. Didn't even crack 100. Yeah, but they did run the ball better. At least in in garbage time in the fourth quarter, so they ended up with 145 yards rushing.
Yeah, which is just like a
basically doubling their total.
Yeah, that's such a gnarly stat. It's nonsense.
It's a fraud, and 65 of those yards are Steven Sims.
Remember? Right,
so
right.
60 because he lost 5 on another option.
Well, that was a pass. That was not a run. That was a pass.
That counts as a pass?
Yes.
Okay.
That was not a run. So he had 1 carry for 65 yards, and so that puts us, down in, 65, 70, 80 yards rushing total. That's what it puts us at. So, anyway, yeah, Steven Sims 1 for 65. Wendell Smallwood 6 for 27. Chris Thompson 4 for 21. Adrian Peterson 7 for 18.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, from a receiving standpoint, Terry McLaurin was the leading receiver, 3 for 51 on 7 targets. Chris Thompson 5 for 17. Jeremy Sprinkle our sole tight end. Healthy tight end. Jeremy Sprinkle 2 for 17. Trey Quinn 3 for 15. Paul Richardson 2 for 14. Kelvin Harmon 1 for 4. Steven Sims 2 for 1. Now, punting. This man punted for 500 yards.
Good
Best
grief.
way punted for 500 yards. Now, if you add together,
that's insane.
Total net yards offense, including the passing net, that is 207. Now, if you want to take gross, that is 244. Either way, he doubled the Redskins' offensive output.
Yeah. Right.
So
right.
no matter how you look at it.
Hold on real quick on Tressway, though. His streak is over. He had his first touchback in 26 games now.
Wow.
The bastard clearly can't play. Cut him.
Cut him.
Right. Yeah. It was
sucks.
an incredible run while it lasted. I'll say that about Tress.
On the Patriots side, Tommy Terrific was 28 for 42, 348 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 106.1 quarterback rating. He did have a pretty good get-well game against us. Jarrett Stidham came in at the end in garbage time, was 0 for 1. So that's at Sony Michel, 16 for 91 yards, 20 long of 25, 5.7 yards per attempt. James White, 6 for 25, goes down from there. Julian Edelman was the leading receiver.
Of course.
8 receptions, 110 yards. He was a key to the game. You got to cover him. They didn't. Josh Gordon, 5 for 59. Ryan Izzo, who was the most wide open you could possibly be in a football game in the end zone, 2 for 39. It goes down from there. Now let's suffer through some defensive stats just for the hell of it.
Do we have to?
Yeah.
We're going to do a few. I mean, there were 5. The Redskins had.
You're dreading. Wait, hold
sacks
on. You're dreading this more than the Redskins' offensive stats. That makes no sense.
No, I'm just kidding. Listen, I'm babbling.
We're all babbling.
They had 5 sacks against them. The leading tackler on the day, Landon Collins, 7 tackles. It goes down from there. They did have a couple sacks on Mr. Bunchen, so that's good. Tim Settle had a sack. Deron Payne had a sack. Jonathan Allen had a sack. Matt Ioannidis and Ryan Kerrigan were credited with a half a sack each. So on the defensive side, I guess that was a positive to a certain extent. And that is stats, kids. Just the takeaway, Tressway doubled our offensive output all by himself.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah.
That's nuts. I don't know. What do you go? You going to talk Redskins defense first, a little bit more in depth before we talk offense? I don't know what we're going to talk about offense other than Terry McLaurin, but look, a game like this on defense is kind of a confusing one. I mean, after a game like this is what we saw. We saw some ability to get pressure on Brady, some ability to sack him, some ability to keep him off balance. No coverage ability in the backfield. Once again, this is another game, like we've seen many times this season, where primetime receivers go uncovered and have way too much cushion. Mm-hmm. So we're getting to the quarterback at least this week. That's been a problem other weeks, but we're at least getting there. The coverage still isn't there. So what is really the issue with this defense? Is it
soft zone coverage, man?
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
More than that. No, it could work. They don't do it well. Okay? Zone coverage works. Teams have been doing this for decades. The problem is this team has forgotten how to do it. They're confused constantly. They constantly miss assignments. Yes, they play soft a little bit, but the bigger problem
I wouldn't say a little bit. I would say they play soft a lot, man.
They don't know what they're doing. That's the problem. Izzo, soft coverage is not responsible for Izzo being wide open in the end zone. That's called a blown coverage. Soft zone is not responsible for Ryan Anderson, of all people, struggling one-on-one against a running back and getting torched down the sidelines. That's called bad game plan, bad coaching, bad execution, not soft zone.
It's a confluence of both things that you guys are talking about. I think it's the play call is soft in the first place, so guys are in a bad position to get in the right position, and then they don't know how to recover. I think it's both things are happening. It's poor coaching and also poor play calling. They're being put in a position to fail, and then they're naturally failing.
Honestly, It's like the secondary's forgotten how to play football. Honestly, I mean, they've looked so much better over the years than they do this year. I mean, there's been times when they've looked good, but just this year, they just don't know how to play football anymore. I mean, they really don't.
Which really, at the end of the day, think about the talent that is on the defense. Just remove everything that we've seen from them so far and think about the talent. Landon Collins and Josh Norman and everybody on the front, Allen, everybody, we've spent draft picks on it. We've gotten free agents off it. We put money into it. Do you really think they're as poor as they're playing? No. This is definitely a coaching problem. It's a scheme problem. There's talent there.
But it's an execution problem, though, Sean. It's like they don't communicate.
I agree.
They've been confused constantly, and you can't just put that on the coaches. I mean, yes, I'm not in favor of keeping Ray Horton and Greg Musk either, but I mean, at some point you got to point the fingers at the guys playing the game.
I understand what you're saying, but just think about Ioannidis and Payne and Allen and Norman and Collins, and think about the caliber of players. There's raw talent there, and at the end of the day, if you've got a point of accountability, someone's not getting the best out of the talent that we have. And there's only one answer to that. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I agree. We all agree there's a communication issue, and everyone's pointed it out. The coaches then need to just be hammering that with these players. And I mean, I don't understand I don't know enough to say, all right, is that Ioannidis or Horton, to say who's in charge of the secondary out on the field? Who's the field general for them? Is it supposed to be Monte Nicholson?
Right, I don't know.
Is it supposed to be Collins?
It doesn't seem like it's anyone.
Somebody should be there telling these guys, Josh, cover this person. Quentin, cover this person.
Josh Norman and Quentin Dunbar are established veterans who know the scheme and know how to play these coverages. They're just not
really, because I watched Norman, and it doesn't look like he knows how to play the coverages anymore.
Listen, he's like, what is he, an 8-year veteran? They're not doing it well. They're just not executing. Some of this is not coaching. It's the players are not playing well. They just aren't. Again, I'm not saying the coaches are great and everything, but I think people are putting far too much of this on the coaches and far too little on that piss-poor execution by these players.
I don't know.
And that includes the front seven, by the way. Today is the first time they've looked decent.
I agree.
In the front seven, and they've been losing their battles one-on-one, too.
I'm seeing everybody out there throughout the whole game waving their arms wildly, pointing around, trying to get people in a different position. There's no rhyme or reason to it. And you're right. No. These are veterans that know how to play these schemes. What's the variable? It's the Redskins coaching staff destroying everything that it touches, as it always does.
And I also, you could even point to, maybe it has a little bit to do with the fact that we've kept on rotating out. We've never really found that and the traditional guy who calls all this stuff, the middle linebacker. We've never had a guy to replace London Fletcher and be kind of that true, play caller. He knows exactly what's going on defense, and he gets guys in the right spot type player.
Mason Foster did pretty well up to last year.
Okay, yeah.
And he was just a physical limitation more so. I mean, he made his share of bust, but
he at least knew what to tell people. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I said this last week. It's like Sean Dan Hamilton isn't even on the team anymore. I mean, he's just making no impact whatsoever.
Yeah.
Right.
Like zero.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say that about Bostic for all the talk. His name doesn't get called all that much when something good happens.
Well, it's because Bostic is a Jag, and anybody who thought that is fooling themselves. They brought him in after Reuben Foster got
He had a good play today.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say about the defense. They looked great early. They couldn't hold on. And by the end, they had reverted back into the typical form that we were kind of seeing of them.
By the end, they quit.
Yeah.
Okay, this team quit today. I mean, I've said before, I think too much is made of this halftime adjustment business. But what you could see is the Patriots came out with a change in their game plan, which was to run the ball more.
Yeah.
Even idiots like us can see that. And the Redskins had no answer to it whatsoever.
Yeah.
In this case, they didn't. They truly didn't do that.
One thing I'm starting to pick up on, and you guys I don't know if you've seen it either, it starts to feel like I'm seeing guys make what some people like to call the business decision when they're going in for a tackle, where they pull up just a little bit. And I saw it 3 or 4 times this week. I saw it a couple times last week, where guys might have a shot at Tom Brady or they might have a shot at a receiver, and then they just hold up for just a half a tick because they don't want to make the hard hit that might get them hurt. I'm starting to pick that a little bit.
I mean, everybody's going to do that against Tom Brady. Everybody's afraid to hit him.
I understand that.
I think some of those guys have been doing that forever. I just think some of them aren't very good tacklers.
Who was it that bumped him today on the slide and then immediately tried to help him back up? Who was that?
Well, that was Josh Norman.
Was that Norman? Okay, I wasn't sure.
Who actually then tried to help him fix his brace, and
get the dirt out of his brace,
For Christ's sake, let his teammates do that. My God.
That's just a play for the refs is what that is. Please don't throw a flag on me. I'm helping him. Yeah, I don't know. I see a lot of guys getting kind of pressure on the quarterback, getting near, getting within tackle's reach, and then just doing something weird, like reaching out for an arm tackle that doesn't find anything, or you're right, like Alex says, kind of pulling off of it a little bit. I've seen that a couple times. Kerrigan is I feel like a repeat offender of that.
Kerrigan, Holcomb's done it once at least in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
Where I see him, he had a clear shot at Daniel Jones last week and a clear shot at Brady this week, and then something he stops for a second, and I don't understand.
They're just afraid to hit. They're afraid to hit the quarterback.
Yeah,
it has to be. Here's one note I made to myself: why in God's green earth is Montez Sweat down back in coverage? Mm-hmm. I'll never understand that. I mean, it's a case of you want a coaching flaw. I mean, here it is.
Well, Anderson in coverage wasn't much better.
No, I know, but I mean, Montez Sweat really and truly is a 4-3 defensive end.
Yes,
I agree. He needs to be blitzing the quarterback every play, and the idea of it, he wasn't very good at coverage in college. I think he's probably more versatile than we think, along the line. But I mean, God, you got him back in coverage. That's just, that's criminal.
Sweat and Kerrigan, for that matter. These guys should be rushing the quarterback every play, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they really should.
There's just a ton of opportunities for mismatches on this defense, as much talent as they have. Yeah, it's just the whole thing's screwy. What else do you want to say about defense before we move to offense? Because we do have to get to that at some point.
The line is playing better. We can say that.
They had a good week.
Well,
this week.
No, they had a good 2 quarters. They had a really, really awful second half. The Patriots at halftime were at 19 yards rushing. Okay, and, by the end of the game, they were up at. I had it right in front of me. Sony Michel had 20, so that's 125. They're up to 140 yards rushing or so. They were terrible in the second half in every way. The front 7 did not do well in the second half, and I thought they quit. I thought the whole team quit. It's like once the Patriots came out and scored 2 touchdowns real quick. It's let's just lay down and die.
Yeah, the heart goes out of it. It's really weird.
It's just they have no heart. This team has no heart.
No.
The coaches don't know how to give them a heart.
They know it's over, Steve. The entire team knows it's over. That no one's job is safe. No one on the coaching staff of significance is probably going to be around. How much hope would you have? How much effort would you put into a game against the Patriots?
I mean, if it were me, 53 players need to be cut.
Yeah.
There's not one player, but aside from Haskins, keep him. But other than that,
our punting game is on lock.
And Tressway, let's keep him too. Yeah. So we'll keep Haskins and Tressway. Other than get rid of all of them.
And Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, McLaurin, you got to keep
McLaurin. I mean, okay.
Yeah.
So
we got three guys.
Point is, nobody should be safe.
Yeah.
The team is terrible. They have no heart. These players don't care. They haven't played a full game yet.
No.
I mean, my great hope for this game wasn't a win. My great hope was that they would at least be competitive and play a solid game. And I mean, they're front runners. They do okay and they look like they have energy when things are going well. But the first thing that goes wrong, it's, oh my God, let's just die.
Yeah,
yeah. Then that's what happens.
And no adjustments, no ability to pull yourself up. No. Okay, well then, if you want to talk about no heart and not caring and a waste of time, let's talk about the offense of this team. Absolutely miserable. Do we have anyone to talk about of note or of value other than McLaurin on this offense?
Well, I mean, Steven Sims, is an explosive dude, I mean, but he's the thing. The thing is about guys like this, you can't run these, what I would call gadget play, too often.
No.
Like the misdirection jet sweep thing is going to work once, not twice. Especially against a team that is as good as the Patriots. They are not going to fall for that twice. What do? We ran it twice. No wonder it got blown up the second time. He's explosive, but you can only use him you can maximize his effectiveness by using him in minimum doses. So I think that's Sims. I mean, other than that, Chris Thompson at times looked like he was moderately effective, but his in his rushing numbers, he was over 5 yards a carry rushing.
His speed is clearly still never come back from when he got that broken leg.
No, probably not. I mean, in the passing game, short passing game, he was only 5 for 17, not effective.
Yeah. I mean, I like Chris Thompson. I think he's a good dude, and a couple of years ago, he was one of the most dangerous weapons we had, but he's never come back.
Yeah, I mean, Bryce Love may take his job next year.
Yeah.
But, I mean, let's talk about the quarterback. Quarterback situation, I think. Colt McCoy was terrible.
Yep.
Yes.
And, yes, for the record, for those of you who are watching our Twitter feed, yes, I was trolling you guys just to tick you off, with him. I definitely would have played Dwayne Haskins in the second half. I mean, there's no reason not to. I would have started him in the first place in this game. I thought Colt was, worse than Case Keenum. He missed reads. He threw the ball poorly. The interception was, I think, kind of on both.
He doesn't have the deep arm at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Sims and McCoy weren't on the same page with the interception. Yeah, the deep ball, he's never been good with the deep ball. He missed the deep one to McLaurin, on the sidelines. I mean, there's no reason why he should be playing.
No,
but the truth of the matter is, none of these three quarterbacks are, good quarterbacks right now.
Yeah.
They're not.
No. The thing about Colt that's kind of sad is, he comes in. This was the number one defense in the league, right? Coming into this week, wasn't it? The Patriots.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
by a lot.
By a lot. We read him through last week. Number one interceptions, etc. All these stats. So I feel like Colt often finds himself in that situation where he gets brought in a situation where he's kind of put the whole franchise on his back. Like he comes in during Dallas week or whatever in previous years. So I feel kind of bad for him, judging him off this performance. This was a tough defense.
It was.
But at the end of the day, you can't ignore what you're seeing. He doesn't have what it takes. Adds really nothing to the equation.
But this was the Patriots.
Mm-hmm. It was.
I mean, it was never going to go well.
Right.
No matter who started, it was going to look like this. If Haskins was in, we would be talking about how awful he is, and he's a bust, and all of that. It was almost better to spare him from that pain and agony.
Probably
true. Which was why I said we should start Colt McCoy in the first place, and I was okay with Haskins staying on the bench this week.
Yeah, I hear you.
And I know we're talking about McCoy, but one thing I think we really need to talk about is the O-line just letting guys come in and hit McCoy almost every other play. There was somebody coming completely untouched through the center of the line.
Yeah.
Well, remember, this is the best blitzing team in the league.
Right, I understand that. But somebody should get a hand on Hightower, every once in a while.
They aren't good enough.
Yeah.
They had 2 of 5 starters.
Yeah.
They aren't good enough. Wait a minute. They didn't. They had 1 of 5 starters because they had
Moses?
Trent is obviously out.
Yeah.
The left guard was Flowers. So they had Flowers, so he's a starter.
Right.
Bergstrom was the starter at center.
Right.
And then the right guard, Scherf, is out. And so they had two of five.
Right.
Starters. I mean, it was never going to go well.
Right. And Penn is starting to look a little tired.
Well, he got hurt at the end of the end of the game.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Do we want to talk Gruden here for a minute?
Yeah.
I think we'll see. We are recording this immediately after the game, okay?
Right.
So we don't know, like 10 minutes after the game. This is how we normally do this. So we don't know right now if Gruden is going to keep his job. If he doesn't, we will be on with another show, some small emergency podcast.
This is our we're going to do this weekly now. This is our Gruden weekly.
We're on Firewatch.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, I'd say that he's not going anywhere. It was the Patriots. Everybody knew what was going to happen. And it's too early in the season.
That's 0-5, Steve.
I understand, but I mean, a lot of people predicted this.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't know what you guys think.
Well, in terms of him keeping his job, I think I told you guys this last week. I think at some point you got to send a message of accountability. I have no expectation of winning, but I'm ready to part ways with Gruden and starting whatever backroom deals need to happen to get some legitimate coach onto the books here.
Now, this week, Thursday, Friday, there were some videos that came out by a random Twitter person who I did try to get through to and could not. The videos showed somebody who looked a lot like Jay Gruden outside of a bar hanging on some woman, basically.
Yeah.
And we don't know if it really was Gruden, although it looked a lot like him. We don't know when this video was taken. Could have been 3 years ago.
We've heard rumors that it was 2 years old.
I'm not going to entertain any rumors. I mean, who knows? It could have been Wednesday night, or it could have been 6 years ago. Who knows? Because the video looked old and grainy. Personally, I really don't care. I mean, that's a married man shouldn't be hanging around in a bar, hanging on women in the middle at dark 30. But that's up to him and his family. It's not our business whatsoever, as far as I'm concerned. My only question on all of that was that before a game day? Other than that, I really don't care what he does.
Right. Well,
that's my thought.
And I agree with all that. It isn't really our business. I know you don't want to speak to the rumors, but the rumors are that this happened sometime 2 years ago. And I saw someone write that the video was from up in Saratoga.
Okay, but that's completely, totally unsubstantiated. It's complete nonsense. We really shouldn't even entertain the rumors because I don't want people to get the impression that that's in any way true or anything. There's no answers.
Well,
I tried.
But
I did try
I also
to
don't want people to
guy.
entertain the idea that he was doing this during a game day.
We don't know. Maybe he was. We have no idea whatsoever when those videos were taken. Or again, maybe there's some Jay Gruden doppelganger out there. I mean, we don't even really know if it's him.
Well, there's 7 billion people on the planet. Everyone's got a doppelganger.
Yeah.
God help my doppelganger, because
I don't care at all personally. Whatever. Even if he had a drunk game day, I've seen plenty of sober game days, and they don't look any different. So, this just begs the obvious question: is why is this coming out now? Who's this anonymous source? Why the timing? Why a 2-year-old
Why was
video?
it released an hour after he announced that Colt McCoy started?
Exactly. It just seems weird. This seems like another, brewing controversy similar to... This team doesn't fire people well. For as much as it fires people, it does not do it well. It releases some alcoholic rumor or some video or some nonsense. I don't know. That's what it smells like to me.
Because, I'll repeat, for the benefit of those of you who weren't around back then a year ago, that we, the Hogsty, heard rumors before they were published that allegedly came from inside the Redskins that Scott Lagoon was drinking again.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody came to us and told us that, and then a week later it got printed. And my impression of it was that somebody was feeding this line to this person who came to us to sort of spread rumors about the guy.
Right.
So, it's just bad form. Who knows about this video? But I think, generally speaking, you're right. The Redskins don't do well with this stuff.
This smells like something the Redskins would cook up to deflect responsibility for a firing. Yeah, that's just what it seems like. I'm not saying that's true. That's not a fact.
Yeah.
We don't know. That's an unsubstantiated opinion.
We've seen this happen a few hundred times, it feels like.
Yeah. It's the same old
like it's never ending. It's like either you're pimping out the cheerleaders, the GM is drunk, the head coach is whoring on women. There's always something going on, and we don't know if any of that was ever true, but this team brings that kind of...
Anytime somebody's with the team and they can't work it out so they'll get rid of them, they're going to, drag the name through the mud a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
That seems to be our MO.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing we can all agree on is that at some point Jay is going to be gone.
Sure,
definitely.
It's just whether or not... I don't think it's good for the team to fire a head coach in week 5. I don't understand the point. It's not going to make the season any better. You're not going to hire a coach. What Alex made a very good point 2 weeks ago about Kevin O'Connell. Everybody thinks he's the boy wonder, but the truth of the matter is we don't know if he is or not. And all that stuff we heard about Sean McVay, which you pointed out, we haven't heard about O'Connell. It's just he's a young guy, and so God, let's make him the interim coach.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a very good point. I mean, fire him, don't fire him. I really don't care at this point. I just don't think it's going to accomplish much. I know some people out there are just, oh my God, we got to have accountability. But, do you really want to throw more chaos into this organization right now? Or do you want to just suck it up, get through this season, get the pain over with, and then make a change?
Chaos is chaos. You can't have two infinities. Chaos is just chaos. Let me ask you guys this about Gruden. Do you think back in a year from now, when he's no longer here, which I think we're all in agreement is most likely the case, what's the number one play that comes to your mind when you think of Jay Gruden?
Number one play?
Yeah.
You mean like the number one offensive play he likes? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, answer it however you want, though.
Okay. I mean, what comes to me first and foremost is he's the most predictable first down play caller in the history of football.
Totally.
That's what comes to mind first. Is that
so okay? So you think of the overall strategy just being super predictable? I think of just a busted screen.
He's a good offensive mind.
Yeah,
like his passing concepts. He if you really study him, Sean, I mean, his passing concepts get people open constantly, and he schemes them open. This is why guys like Ryan Grant didn't completely suck.
Yeah,
it's Ryan Grant has no talent. But at an NFL by NFL standards, but the scheme is so good that he can just get people open. I studied this film; I know it's true, and you guys who know way more than me, like Bullock, and guys like that, will tell you. But the players just are so poor at execution.
And is scheming people open? Is that really that rare for a offensive coordinator in the NFL?
He's much better at it. Look at like Mike McCarthy. Who before he got fired with the Packers, their scheme was so simple and just absurd. That's why Aaron Rodgers was so mad. To me, I think Jay Gruden is the type of guy who needs to be an offensive coordinator dreaming up plays.
Yeah.
I think that would be part of what I'd point at. I would also point to a guy who never found the quarterback that he really loved.
Yeah.
And it's not a play, but like that, if you want to sum up his whole career here, they never once really had a quarterback that he was like, this is my franchise guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought in the beginning of the Kirk Cousins era,
they had it
pretty well together.
Yeah. Maybe.
But then Kirk showed himself as being weak-minded and, all of that we know he is. I mean...
That's true, though. That was close. On paper, those two are a good match, and they had something for a time.
They did.
And the God's honest truth, though, is I think that if Colt McCoy hadn't kept getting injured, he would have been the starter here a long time ago.
Yeah.
That's what I really think.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Jay Gruden really, really likes Colt McCoy. He really does, for some reason.
Take him with you, Jay. I mean, you can have
Colt's
him.
A backup. I mean, he's a decent enough backup. I don't really get the love affair, but that's the truth is I think Colt McCoy would have been the starter a long time ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, let's do some game balls. Let's do this. Rip it off like a Band-Aid. Put the kibosh on.
All right.
Do we really have to?
Yeah, of course.
All right, I'll go first. I've been putting it off every week. Steven Sims gets my offensive game
There's
ball.
no other option. There's literally no other.
Literally nobody did anything that was worth a tinker's damn at all on offense but him. And he had basically one play. I mean, the defense of game ball is a whole lot harder.
Yeah.
I guess I'm kind of thinking through this live on the air here. Nobody in the secondary deserves anything.
Agreed.
Tim Settle had a great-looking sack.
Right.
So I'm going to give Tim Settle the game ball reluctantly out of a lack of anyone else who deserves a game ball. So I'm going to give it to Sims and Settle.
Okay. Defensible. I'm going to follow you up then. Sims will also get it. I don't know who else you really would consider giving it to other than a courtesy. Defensively, you're right. There's a couple different ways to go. I mean, obviously didn't get it done this week. I think I'm going to go Jonathan Allen. I saw there was a couple drives there where he was consistently getting pressure. Didn't always find home, but he was disruptive. I think he did have one sack. So I'm going to give it to him this week.
I am, with you guys on Steve Sims, and let's just keep varying up the defense here. I'm going to go Kerrigan. He had that half sack, which was pretty good, but he also had that big pass breakup at one point.
Nice.
And Kerrigan's been, by the way, he's been struggling most of the first part of this year.
Definitely.
I've got theories as to why that aren't going to be very popular, so I won't even mention them. But I think he's starting to finally get in the groove. It looked like he's starting to play a little bit more like what we're used to seeing.
The Kerrigan we remember. Okay.
Sounds like a pity game ball to me.
It is.
Real quick, I didn't go over injuries. Injuries and penalties. The injuries I got live during the game was Fabian Moreau went out and came back in.
Yeah.
Deron Payne had a knee, went out and came back in. Clinton Dunbar had an arm, did not come back in. Donald Penn had like a lower leg injury of some type, and the new tight end Cunningham went out, and I frankly didn't notice if he came back in or not.
Hardly realized he was there.
Yeah, right. And so penalties, I was afraid that at one point that we weren't going to get to double-digit penalties. I was sweating this out, and then thank God we got one final false start, I think it was, and got to 10.
Nice.
Struggle, but we've kept up the streak. We're at 10 again. Only 3 holding calls this week. Bergstrom, 72 and 67 were the holding calls. Who is 72? Is that Penn?
Is that
That's
Christian?
Penn.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Christian 74.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Next week, this is more winnable. We obviously have a preview episode coming, but if there's ever a week to get that W, and for the first time in a season, this might be the one. So, hopefully some positivity coming. Anything else you guys want to throw out there? Some lingering thoughts, final thoughts on this week?
First of all, Penn was it was Penn and Wes Martin were the other two on the penalties. My final thoughts, I would just beg the fans, be negative because the team deserves it. But what did you expect? Did you expect more? Mm-hmm. This is exactly what was supposed to happen. So just try not to lose your minds too much. Just accept it. It's like, it's like a prison rape. At some point,
I already love this analogy. I love it.
It's going to happen. Just don't fight it. Just let it happen. Accept the pain.
Jesus Christ.
And move on.
Dear Lord.
Isn't that kind of what's happening here to us?
Well, pretty much, though.
Maybe that's probably
that is the
PG-13.
world's worst analogy that we just had there.
Aren't the fans getting prison raped by this team?
So spot on, too. Yeah, you're right.
I would have expected that to come from Sean or me, not from you.
Hey, I know. But, but I would venture a guess that when you're in that situation in prison, you fight it until, try not to let it happen, obviously, but once it's going to
happen... You reach a point of diminishing returns with fighting it in prison, I think.
Andy Dufresne.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah. That's what I was thinking of, Andy Dufresne.
Right.
Exactly right. So that's this. Don't torture yourselves on Twitter this week. Just, they suck. The team sucks.
Yeah.
Just accept it.
It is what it is.
You're not going to make yourself feel any better. It is what it is.
And if you're not numb to it by now, well, then you're just, I got no sympathy for you because you should have been numbed years ago.
Exactly.
Okay,
Andy crawled through 500 yards of awful foulness I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Just remember, Tressway punted for twice the number of yards of the offense.
He punted through 500 yards of foulness that I can't even imagine.
Exactly
right. That's right. Tress Dufresne. Okay. We will see you all next week.
Please end.
Yes. We'll see you on the Hog Style. We'll be more positive next time, I promise. Take care.
Hi, I'm Mark.
And I'm Carol.
And we're the hosts of Retro Late Fee. We are stuck in 1994.
And we can't get out.
We're watching all the movies and TV shows that you probably remember, I guess. Somehow we're speaking to you through some kind of time portal.
Right.
Join us every week for great movies and TV shows from 25 years ago.
It's fun, I swear.